Okay, we're going to do a little bit of chicken prep here. Take a couple of thighs here. You'll notice we got a pair of gloves on, another pair sitting there on the side we'll be using later on. We're just going to be prepping 2 thighs in this video. Here we're putting our fingers underneath the skin and pulling it off. And I got to tell you that a lot of what I've learned here, I learned watching Jody, the chicken prep wizard over at Big Papa Smoker's team. What I did is I peeled it back but not completely off. Now this is something you would just do when you were cooking, you know, for yourself in the backyard. This isn't what you'd call a competition prep. So we've just peeled that back so we can see all the excess fat. We're going to take the poultry shears here and just trim all that off because no one wants to eat chicken fat. Check the other side. We're going to cut anything there that doesn't look like something we'd want to eat off. As you can see, we're going to trim over here, and even trimming on this backside where the skin is still attached will not remove the skin, but you can get the fat off. The other thing is this nodule here at the end. It doesn't look good, usually doesn't taste good, normally gets overcooked, so we just go ahead and trim it off. Just set some of that stuff to the side. We'll be using those toothpicks later on as we season it and pull the skin back over. We'll take the second thigh and cut it the same way. Unfortunately, my skills with the GoPro camera is still not the greatest, so that's why we're not exactly centered in the frame, but hopefully you get the picture of what we're trying to do here. We'll trim this one up, and then once we get it trimmed up, we're going to oil the chicken with a little bit of grapeseed oil. You can use whatever oil you want, you know, peanut oil, corn oil, olive oil. And then we'll be putting on some Big Papa Smoker's Desert Gold spice, which works real nice on the chicken. Most folks like using, you know, when I use that. So here we've got the 2 thighs laid out. Now the next thing I'm going to do when I go to prep this is I'm going to pull off that right glove because I don't want to be touching my oil bottle or my Big Papa Smoker's Desert Gold spice bottle with gloves that have touched raw chicken. So I'll go ahead and season these up. That takes a little bit of getting used to kind of pulling the skin over with one hand. You're always tempted to grab it with the other hand and do that, but I just lightly put it over and then roll it over and oil the other side and season it. Then once we get that done, I'll flip it back over, put a little bit of seasoning on the skin. That way if you get guests that want to eat the skin, you have that all seasoned. You get guests that don't want to eat the skin, they can peel it off and you've still got the meat seasoned. And the meat didn't dry out because you had the skin over there to protect it. A little bit of this Desert Gold. And I'm pretty generous with that spice. Now the next thing I'm going to do is I am going to put gloves back on because we'll be pinching the thighs and then using a toothpick to hold the skin on. The only thing is it's just easier to pull the other glove off that you had on and put a brand new pair on. So like I said, it's probably a little bit out of the video, but I am pinching together the thigh and then I'll put a toothpick in there to hold the skin on. You want the toothpick to go through both sides so you'll get the skin on the one side where you had pulled it loose, run it through the skin, through the meat, under the bone, through the meat, out the skin on the other side. And it does 2 things. Number one, it keeps the skin on, but the other thing it does is it kind of keeps that chicken rolled up a little bit, and they cook so much nicer that way. So give it a try. I think you'll like it.